Welcome back, everybody. My name is Taylor Martin. This is the best Damn EDC, and it's time for another video. And today, it's finally time. It's time I finally take on the $100 complete EDC challenge. So you may remember a couple of months ago, I purchased a complete EDC on Amazon for $100. I think it turned out pretty well for $100, and now I'm going to carry that for 2 weeks. So you guys saw the $50 that I did a month ago, maybe a little longer now. Now it's time for the $100. The first one, the $50 one, I got a lot of feedback saying I just complained a lot. And I think anybody would in that situation. Like, I get where you guys are coming from, but also I got like $1,500 worth of some of my favorite knives, some things I was looking forward to so much. I got it all in like the day before I decided to do that challenge. And it was a bad start. But also, I didn't like a lot of the gear. And like I said, I probably would have changed my mind if I were to do it again. And maybe I will do it again and just compare, how those turned out. The point I'm making is that now it's time for $100. And this is one that I've been looking forward to. Like, genuinely, I think this is going to turn out pretty good. And I think my takeaway is going to be pretty positive this time. So here we are. It's time for me to dump my pockets and refill them with the $100 carry. So currently, I'm giving up. This is the knife that I've been carrying most lately. And that is the large Sabenza 21, good old Chris Reeve knives. I love this knife, probably the one I would stick with if I could only choose one. The flashlight has been the Olight S1 Arbiton 2 Winter. Of course, the pin is the tactile turn. This is the one that I modified last week over at Rick's. The key bar, I have the titanium slotted key bar that's kitted with a ton of tools. I have the card caddy with a Rexford Rut utility knife in it, and the Lynch Northwest All Access Pass 2.0, so that's the smaller one of the two. And then my keys. This is going to get a little weird, so just bear with me. Trust me. You'll see. The Tale of Knives Keepster. All right, so that means I'm giving up a $450 knife, a $100+ pin, because I customize it, a $100 flashlight, a almost $200 key bar, a $65 pry bar, a $150 utility knife. I think these are about $50-$60 for the wallet. This thing, I don't even know what the Keepster costs. $50-$60 on the magnetic quick release, some $15 titanium carabiner, and a $20 flashlight here. So this carry is pretty expensive, and I'm going from this to this. I almost forgot this is also going. This is the Citizen AT0200B-BE something. I don't know. It's a Citizen chronograph. If you search Citizen chronograph on Amazon, it's the first one that comes up. I put a ton of thought into this watch. It's damn near perfect, and I'm giving this one up as well. There you have it. 2 weeks with this gear. See you guys soon. Okay, so it is 1 week to the day that I started the $100 Amazon budget EDC challenge video thing. One thing that I do want to note really quickly is with this challenge and this gear that I have, I've been noticing a problem, and I noticed this last time. This isn't all the stuff that I would normally carry, right? So this is the whip kit. You've got your watch, your wallet, flashlight, pin, knife, and your key situation, right? Which is over here. I have very few complaints about the gear that I'm actually carrying. The bigger problem with this challenge is that I'm missing things that I would normally have with me, right? So this flashlight doesn't necessarily fit my needs. It's not the flashlight I would choose, and that's okay. I can make it work for a couple of weeks, and I can learn from that. But what it comes down to, and I have this in my pocket, this came in yesterday. I'm not actually carrying this. I just brought it with me for this shoot. This pry tool right here is something that I've been missing. Like, I was at Rick's shop last week, And to take the camera off the tripod, you need a little flathead or something. I could use the knife, sure, but these are the tools that I've been really growing accustomed to having in my gear. I've had a pry bar in my carry for years, so going without something like this is actually pretty difficult, even for like 2 or 3 days, because I need them that frequently. And that's where I run into an issue with this challenge, is where do I draw the line when I know that I'm going to need something like this, you know, for a full day or 2 days of shooting or whatever. Am I breaking the rules by throwing this in my pocket? I don't think it really truly matters, but what it does mean is that these challenges aren't really true, right? Like they don't mean what they should, because I know that when I start the challenge, I'm going to be missing gear that's crucial to my carry. So I don't know, that's just a thought that I had as soon as I started this carry, because I've needed a pry tool so many times. Not the bottle opener, not a wrench or bit driver. I just need a pry tool, just a little flathead or something, and that's just where I've fallen short. So if I were to do this again, even though I love this knife, even for maybe the $50 challenge, I would try to go with maybe a Swiss Army knife, so you've got more than just the knife. But that's just some food for thought, just where I'm at right now with this challenge.
Alright.
Oh.
Still a little bit of this has gotta be in the video, dude. I'm serious. Dude, that's so funny.
Wow, I'm not hot anymore, that's for sure.
Okay.
We are back here with the budget gear. I took this stuff out of my pockets this morning because I'm done with it. I'm happy to be done. This one went off so much better than the $50 budget carry, but that's really truly not the point. A lot of you were upset that I just complained the whole time with the $50 carry, but the truth is, it still is currently, that this gear is much better than that cheaper gear. And that's not to knock it. Like, if you're carrying the Kershuffle, fine. If you're happy with it, be okay with it. That's fine. It didn't work for me. This knife does. It goes well beyond what the Kershuffle did for me. The point is that I still don't recommend just going out and buying this stuff for $100. One, I bought 3 of these things on severe sale. Like, this is normally like a $40 knife. This watch is usually much more than what I paid for it. And this, I think there was like a $6 or $7 coupon. Even if you could get this stuff for $100, I wouldn't recommend just going and buying this because I did. Like, that's not the point. The point in this video was to show you that you can get really good stuff for not a lot of money. All I'm saying is save up for the gear you want rather than just buying what you can get right now. Save for a few weeks or a few months, deal with what you got, and get something you truly want versus something you're just going to be settling for. That's it. That's the whole message. But talking about this stuff specifically, I think this is going to be the last time I carry this stuff for 2 weeks. Like, maybe I'll do it in the future, but for now, one, it ties me up for 2 weeks, and I can't really do the stuff I normally do. It kind of hinders what I do for work while I'm carrying this stuff. I can't test out new gear. I am stuck with this stuff. If maybe I do this one in the future and I don't have a backlog of like 30 or 40 videos, maybe we'll do it again. The other thing is they're a little impractical. They don't really give you a full picture because this is not the stuff I would carry normally. And it doesn't prove anything other than like this is somebody else's carry. And when I have to carry it, it doesn't work for me because carries are very personal, right? I've spent years picking and choosing pieces of gear that work for me, and something that's not included in this that I use all the time is a pry tool. I've always got one of these on me. There are just things in this carry that are missing for me in my personal carry. So maybe if I revisit the $100 carry, I'll do it with my stuff, the essentials in my personal carry. So just wanted to throw that out there as well. These budget carries, the whip kit, so to speak, isn't mine, so it doesn't work for me like I want it to. So right off the bat, there are frustrations. It's understandable. It's something I've grown very used to having. So when you take it from me, I get mad, right? Anybody would. Oh, and the last thing, none of this stuff, and if I did this again, I would maybe pay attention to this. Everybody complains about everything having a bottle opener on it, right? Everything has a bottle opener except for the stuff in this carry. So there were several times over the last 2 weeks where I was opening a bottle, a beer or whatever it may be, and there's no bottle opener. So I ended up, you can open the bottle with a knife or Bic or the pen really even. So I just opened the bottle with my knife. You grab the bottle by the neck and pop the top off the knife or pry tool or anything. I could have done it with this. I just found that kind of funny because everything always has a bottle opener, and somehow I picked the stuff that just doesn't. I also want to take a little bit of time, not much, talking about each piece in this carry individually. And I want to start with the knife. The Steel Wheel Cutjack Mini. This knife, I got it at a really good price, which if I didn't find it on sale that day, which was a little serendipitous, I would not have had a knife this nice. I was only allotting myself about $30, and these typically run, I think, about $38. And at $38, it is a great value knife. At $29, I think is what I paid. It's phenomenal. Like, there's nothing that really comes close at $29. You have a D2 blade, so it's a really great blade steel that typically you don't see for that price range. The FRN handles are really nice. The ergonomics are great. And really, at the end of the day, I had no complaints about this knife. The only thing that I didn't love to begin with was the clip. And I did modify the knife. Obviously, it had a satin blade to begin with, and the clip was a mirror finish, kind of like the hardware. For all intents and purposes, it's the same knife. The one thing that we did when we customized it was actually made it more prone to rust. So the thing about D2 is that it's not actually a stainless steel, so if you don't oil it, it will rust. And then when you bead blast something like that that's not stainless, and you introduce sweat or condensation or anything else, it will rust. And when you bead blast it, it really kind of opens up the metal and gives it more surface area and allows rust to get in there easier, right? It's just going to rust easier. And it was, I think, 2 days after we customized this thing that it rusted. So other than that, this thing is great. I would recommend it at full price. I did just get, Steel Wheel just sent me the full-size Cutjack. I do prefer that size. I'm rambling. The point is, this is a phenomenal knife for the price, and I'm really happy that I was able to squeeze this one into the $100. All right, this is the Kinzed wallet, I believe is what it's called. I don't know how you pronounce the name of that company. This wallet, I have no problems with. I actually backed Tight wallets on Kickstarter or Indigo. I think it was Kickstarter years and years ago, like 8 or 9 years ago, and I loved that. I used that wallet for a very long time until it fell apart, really. Same concept, you just have a cash holder because it's elastic band on the back, and then on the front, so on the back actually, before I get to the front, the band is open, so you can put cash in there or whatever. On the front, it's actually sewn, so that's actually a pocket, and I put SD cards and different things down in there, little small things that I didn't want to lose, and it held them perfectly. These things are great. This was like $5. And I would honestly continue to carry this. Truly. I swapped for the Travax Summit because this is a little bit better, a little sturdier, but I really have no problems with this wallet. Honestly, the same goes for the Zac Tools Tactical Keychain. Let's see what it says. Zac Tools ZT52 Tactical Keyring Holder. This thing is awesome. It's also only $5. You slide a split ring onto it. You put this on your belt first. Slide a split ring onto it. It's really great, and when you want your keys, you just grab them. It's worth well more than $5, but for $5, great buy. It did thrash the first belt that I carried it on. It was a leather belt. I carried this before the challenge because I liked it so much, but it did thrash the leather belt. I've been using a Core Essentials. It's really kind of a gun belt. It's very stiff, and this has not caused any problems with that. I would continue to carry this if it weren't for the Clipster. This is the Clipster from Tale of Knives. So very similar concept. You've just got an HK clip instead of this spring retention clip. So really, really awesome piece of gear for just $5 as well. Up to this point, I didn't really have any problems with any of the gear that I got for this challenge, but this is really the only thing that caused me any trouble. And this is the Lumentop Tool AAA. It's a highly recommended flashlight in the EDC world. Tons of people like them, mainly because they come in like brass and different materials. This was by far my least favorite flashlight I've carried for a number of reasons. One, you've got to set expectations on a budget flashlight, right? It's not going to have all of the features of an O-light or a high-end flashlight. The biggest problem I had with this one is there's no momentary on. So with the i3T EOS, which is O-light's comparable flashlight to this, it's the same price. If you half press the button, it'll turn on. This one doesn't. You have to fully click it on so it's continuous, and then you select your mode. So no momentary on kind of bothered me because I am still currently dealing with, not a newborn, she's technically an infant now, but this right here in a dead silent room is enough to wake her up. And it did many times, and I can't select the brightness, before it's on. So you have to just turn it on, and sometimes it's on bright, sometimes it's on dim. This didn't work for me. I would much rather even have the cheaper flashlight that I had in the last video, the Lumentop EDC-01. I think for the money, it's actually a pretty solid flashlight, but for my needs, it didn't fit the bill. The other thing about this that I really didn't like was the clip. It's not very deep carry. It stuck out of my pocket a lot, and I honestly, this thing went flying out of my pocket probably once a day. It was a miracle that I didn't lose it. But of course, you see I have the diffuser on the end here, and that just makes it gives it a little softer of a beam, and it has been great. I actually used it as a fill light for photos. So it does have its merits, but the reason I put this on here was really to give it 6 modes. So when you diffuse it, it makes it less bright. So you have basically your standard 3 modes, and then dimmer modes that are more diffused with the diffuser. I actually used the diffuser every day when I used this flashlight because it did make it much dimmer, noticeably dimmer on the low mode. It's comparable to the i3T EOS from Olight, but I think I'd rather have the Olight. The Olight is a little bigger, but it's got a better interface for my needs. It's got that momentary on, and you can select your mode before you actually turn the flashlight on. But Lumentop Tool AAA, it's okay. It worked. Definitely not my favorite, and I probably will recommend it less now moving forward. The Parker Jotter, I also customized this very clearly. It came in a stainless, almost like a satin finish, and I just bead blasted it and acid etched it really quickly and then tumbled it. And you can even see that it started to wear off. It didn't take too well to it. And then we had to brush some of these to actually make the action okay. And I do think that part of the problem I had with this pen was the action, and I think I ruined that by customizing it. We did it in a hurry and we didn't take things apart, but it made the refill stick a lot in here. And the other thing is this one came with blue ink, which I do not like. So I had another Parker Jotter insert, so I immediately put a black ink Parker insert in here. Because in the real world, if I were to buy this pen, I would make sure that it had black ink to begin with, but I was trying to meet a certain budget, so I had to choose the cheapest one available. So you obviously wouldn't do that in the real world, so I went ahead and just put a black insert in there, but I haven't had any problems with it. I've really liked this pen, and you can put different inserts in here. So obviously, your standard Parker inserts will fit, but your Schmidt Easy Flow will fit, but also my favorite refill, which I didn't use for the duration of this, but the Schneider Jellion 39, which is a lesser known refill. This is what Big Idea Design uses in their pens. It's a little gel insert, very similar to a Pilot G2. It fits perfectly in the Parker Jotter. You have a gel pen with a nicer casing. And then we come to probably what was one of my favorite things. So the knife and the watch ended up being my favorite things. And I was a little worried about this watch because even after it came in, I wore this for probably about a week. So I've worn it well outside the challenge, so to speak. And this is a really, really great watch for the money. I think I paid about 36 bucks. I don't know, somewhere around there. Fantastic watch. Obviously, it's just a quartz watch. The looms on it aren't great. They're okay. They're just the hands are loomed. But like with, I think, every single Timex Expedition, this watch has Indiglow. So if you push the crown in, it's a button and it will light the face up. I'm up often very late at night with the baby. Need to check the time and I can just push the crown in. I only have one complaint with this watch, and it's the same one I've had every time I've talked about pretty much any cheap quartz watch, except for the Timex Expedition Field chronograph. They're loud. They are so loud. And there's rain right now, so I don't know if you can actually hear this. Can you hear it ticking still?
I can't hear right now.
In a dead silent room, you can hear this from probably about 5 or 6 feet away, which is nuts. And that caused problems with me trying to sleep some nights. But other than that, really, I got used to it, and I've not had any problems. But yeah, this watch is a really great value. It's just a really nice watch. And the thing about it is that it comes in so many different colors. Like this one's obviously very clearly in my vibe. I like a black dial with white indices and a green strap. Like it's right down my alley. But this watch comes in a tan and a bunch of different colorways. You can find these at Target. I think Walmart, a ton of different places have the Timex Expedition Scout. This thing can be dressed up. It can be dressed down. Really great watch. So that's it. That is the $100 budget carry. Like I've said several times now, I'm going to do some different stuff with this. I've already started another challenge, a $50 best knife under $50 challenge that I'm working with Blade HQ and Talon Sai on. So stay tuned for that if you were interested in more budget knives, because I think that's probably one of the biggest pieces of a budget carry that people look for is the knife, because you can get a lot of these other things for pretty cheap and really high value. So the knife is really the pinnacle of that budget carry. But with that said, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and subscribe to see more stuff like this in the future, and hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. All of this stuff is linked down below, as well as stuff that didn't make the cut. So if you are interested in any of this budget gear that I've talked about at all throughout this entire thing, just hit those links. If you purchase anything, it does help support the show by giving me a little bit of a kickback, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. You can also go to Carry Commission or carry.best in your browser to purchase stuff like this or gear from me and sticker packs and different stuff. Carry Commission and Best Damn EDC branded stuff. And you can also go to patreon.com/bestdamnedc to support there. Be sure to follow us around the web. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at bestdamnedc. You can find me, Taylor Martin, on Twitter and Instagram at Casper Tech. And this guy back here behind the camera putting lip balm on right now. You can find him at Jabin Stardens. It's all linked down below. But with that said, and until next time, carry on. Or rock on like these dudes over here. Did you finally hear them? Yeah, they're playing back there.
They're pretty far that way. Yeah.
I think it's the
Playing drums too.
Yeah, dude, they got amp. They're playing rock music.
Dude, I want to go play with them.
All right, well, let's get this out of here and do the pin thing.